And I got a hoodie on, and I'm not hot anymore, so now it's a problem. Now
I'm gonna. That's the problem with hoodies, especially. Is it a pullover or a zip?
The pullover.
Yeah, those are
can't live
such
like
a
this.
pain in the butt to take on or take off. I like the zip more, but they don't look as, I don't know, put together.
Do any hoodies look put together? Really?
Well, certainly the pullovers look a little more put together than the zips do. But, see, I've gotten into all of this, all of the nuances, because I've gotten. I'm peddling T-shirts now. Apparently.
Oh, yeah, that's it. So, which site are you using for that?
I am using, in order to fulfill the shirts, I am using Printify.
Are you allowed to talk about?
I guess
fulfilling. It's not like some.
No, it's not a secret.
Back
really.
alley thing or something.
Not that I'm aware of.
Sweatshop.
But there's also embroidered stuff on the store, and that gets fulfilled through another place called Printful. I hate the names of these things. It's like everybody's like.
At least you know what they do.
Printly, and it's just like, well, now I can't tell the difference between them all. And get this, the front end that I have the site with is called Shopify. So I have Shopify and Printify. And it's like, this is stupidify. I mean, it's like...
I think you need to change your Expectify.
Clarify, yeah.
I've been getting, for the past several days, I have been getting these alerts.
From Alex?
On my phone.
He doesn't know who you are. He's like,
no,
I'm not acknowledging your existence, Father.
I've been getting these alerts on my phone. I know it's trying to be helpful. I know the technology is trying to be helpful, and I know that it's trying to anticipate my needs and so forth, and setting up alarms for times that it thinks I need. Anyway, that part's all fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep getting this time sensitive notification. It comes up.
I'm getting
constantly.
those too. Yeah.
What are you getting it from?
My calendar mainly, but also my Outlook calendar, which can both have the same thing on it, which kind of is bothersome because it's not only giving me the one I set up for the alert 15 minutes before for the event. Let's say it's a work event, like a call. It's on my Outlook, and my Apple Calendar pulls in my Outlook. So I get a 15 minutes before notification from Outlook, a 15 minutes before notification from Apple Calendar, and now I get time-sensitive notifications from Outlook and time-sensitive notifications from Apple Calendar. So I'm getting 4 total notifications, all 15 minutes before the one event that this is all concerning.
Well, this time-sensitive notification is from 10:36 a.m.
10:36. Interesting.
A.m. Yeah. Well, so
for what?
This? So well, here's the thing. For the past several, I'm never. No,
I was about to say, wow, that's early.
Well, it knows me, Marcus.
I guess that's true.
So
you're on the plane somewhere going, oh right, dang it.
For the past several weeks, I've been getting these notifications about my my AirPods being separated from me. Like so it'll say something like because it has that find your device thing turned on. So it starts to give me warnings about if I've strayed too far, if one of my devices has strayed too far. It's like trying to make sure I don't lose it, right?
Sure.
So it's telling me that that my AirPods are left behind somewhere. Like, oh, you left your AirPod somewhere. Yes, I did, because I don't need them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, thanks for telling me this, but I want to turn it off, because what if I turn it off and then the next day, that's the day that somebody grabs them or something. Yeah, right. So it was doing that, and I ignored doing it, and I ignored doing it, and I ignore. And then now, the past 2 or 3 days, past 2 days actually. Well, this makes sense, because my AirPods weren't working on my walk today. It's like I put them in my ear. There's nothing worse. Correction. There are a lot of things worse.
Third world problems.
Shut up.
Or wait, first world.
Chasing world problems. Yeah. There are many things worse, but this is annoying. When I was on my I put my AirPods in, and I'm all excited because I can hear automatically that they're charged because you can hear like the sound change. Sometimes they don't charge when you think they're charging. Anyway, and I get out and I talk to the neighbor. I actually talked to the neighbor, so that's a thing.
You didn't do any like public records research on him first?
No. He was out doing his Christmas lights for like the second day in a row. He's like, it's like a 2 or 3 day job. It's just serious. Yeah, serious. And I almost took a picture and sent it to you last night. I kid you not. I almost sent the picture to send to you, but then I realized like, oh, I'm the neighbor now taking a picture of the other neighbor's house. So I'm not going to do that.
Well, it's like in the Catholic faith, just wanting to do it is pretty much the same as doing it.
So I should have just
gone ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure they agree with that. They do, in any event, after I talked to him and I start walking. Oh, it's because the reason I was talking. I had to avoid going. The only reason I'm talking. You have to pick
You've
your
aborted
poison.
the sentence like 5 times.
Okay, you have to pick your poison. So the only reason that I would ever go out of my way, cross the street to talk to the neighbor. This is Matt. This is the responsible neighbor.
Okay.
The only reason I would ever go across the street when a neighbor's outside doing stuff to talk to them is to avoid a more awkward neighbor encounter.
Okay.
Right? It's like Sophie's Choice.
Right.
It's just like Sophie's. No, it's not at all like Sophie's Choice.
Little lady and the tiger action going on here.
But the people I was avoiding, it was just a cluster of people I don't know, but standing out in front of that house that has just, I think it's sold finally, Marcus. It's sold. Ooh. The people who park, they're sidewalk parkers, Marcus.
Oh.
Those kind of people who and these people
like across where the sidewalk traverses your driveway, and they just all right, yeah.
They do it all over my neighborhood. Have we not talked about this?
No, we've talked about this. And when I came over to your house to do Halloween candy, I parked in your driveway, and I noticed that would make it to where I was screwing up the sidewalk, and I backed out and parked on the street.
See,
I'm a responsible guy.
Good you.
Of course, I was right across from the people across the street's driveway, and they had like a 9-year-old kid who was taking the minivan somewhere, and he was very perplexed that suddenly there's this car where he doesn't usually see a car. And
you parked right out front.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that's like Suicide Alley. You can't do that. You gotta park.
A whole lot of choice though on Halloween night.
You gotta park. Well, on the street, the other street, the side street. That side street. That's where I park. So whenever I'm moving my car out of the way, I move it to that side street because I don't trust anyone. Like anytime, you shouldn't be able to design a street like that. You shouldn't be able to design a driveway so it will, if someone backs out, they're going to run into like another car backing out of another driveway or a car parked. It's too tight.
The driveways should kind of line up maybe. Because nobody's going to park on the street blocking a driveway.
Yes, that's what it is. So right, exactly. Go. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. If anybody listening is an urban designer person.
Oh, they don't care about this. Urban designers, these are the developers who have to
whichever. Whoever's in charge of driveways.
In Florida, no one's in charge. I can tell you
that. That's
true. No one at all. Minimally effective dose.
Chaos.
Minimally effective dose. So, I hear eye rolls right now, but I digress. So those people are they're moving, which is awesome because they asked for like $1 bazillion for their house that's smaller than our house, and they got it. They got like a ton of, and like, so now who knows what's going to do? It's crazy. Yeah. I hope my taxes don't go up. Anyway.
So that's the downside, right?
So after I talked to Matt, I told him I was proud of him, Marcus. I told a grown man that I'm proud of him. It may have been one of them. It didn't seem weird but like 50 feet later, it felt weird.
Right, kind of replaying the encounter in your head.
Well, I was like genuine. I was like, man, I'm proud of you. Like, because he just does all this stuff with the lights, just amazing things with his lights and stuff. And so I'm like, I'm proud of you. And then I'm thinking to myself, I bet he doesn't care whether I'm proud of him or not.
You feel like he noticed that you said that you're proud of him and may have had an interesting reaction to that?
No.
Like even if it was just internal?
No, I think he's a stoic dude. I think he can.
Cool.
Yeah, but I also think he's the kind of guy who's like, yeah, I'm just going to let it go.
That is something that I am not concerned with. Thank you for informing me, though.
Yeah. I'm going to get back to my regular broadcasting now. So, regular programming. Doesn't matter. So I get further down. After I've been thinking about this, I go and now I'm going to find something to listen to.
No.
I know exactly what I need to listen to. And so I it's not working. It's not playing. Mm-hmm. It didn't even connect. Like I'm like, what's going on? And then I look on my phone, and it's not even seeing it.
Oh,
it's not even seeing it. So that's a problem. But then later I put two and two together because I've been getting these messages saying, and I'll read it to you. It says, an AirPods Pro has been moving with you for a while. The owner can see its location. You can play a sound to find it. Yeah.
Implying that you're not the owner?
Yeah. And it says on here, first seen with you at 9:50 a.m. So like your current location can be seen by the owner. You may be carrying this item, or it could be located closely. If this item is not familiar to you, you can disable it and stop sharing your location. So if I go into continue, then you can go into this thing and you can say, learn about this item. And learn about this item, it then says this AirPod Pro can be located by its owner using the Find My app. And then it says, press once on the AirPod stem with 2 fingers. Tap continue on website for more information and see if there is a lost mode message from the owner. And then in tiny little print at the bottom, it says, if you feel your safety is at risk due to this item, contact your local law enforcement. You may need the serial number for this item. I wasn't worried before, but now I'm a little worried. So I'm like, do I have someone else's AirPod?
There's a lot to unpack here.
I don't even know where do you even begin. I don't know. And the thing is, it recognizes. So when I open the little lid, you do the little open the lid thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for it. Is it going to show up? There it is. Jason's AirPod Pro. See, now it's going to try to connect. Oh, come on. No, stop it.
What's it going to connect? Do you have
It's trying to connect to the computer now. Now Audition's giving me a whole, oh, no.
It says your hardware settings have changed.
The list of audio devices connected to the operating system has changed. Do you want to go in the audio? I guess I have to, right?
No, you don't, actually. If you decline that, it won't make any changes.
Should I look at
preferences? I think it's saying, hey, you got new stuff. Do you want to use the new stuff?
This is a problem. Why is it doing this to me? You can't change the preferences while you're.
Well, see, that's good because you want the preferences you started with.
Yeah.
That's what screws me a lot of times is when we get started, everything's set up fine, and then I plug in these corded things into my microphone, and I switch the output on my computer to my microphone so I can listen through here, and suddenly Audition is like, oh, you changed some stuff. Well, I'll change some stuff too. We're all changing stuff. Look at us changing things. And then I'll hit record, and then I'll start talking, and it's like a flat line, like a dead beaver. And I got nothing. And because it changed, well, it would flatline too, right? So, but yeah. And then suddenly I feel like a moron because now I'm recording complete silence and talking into a microphone that is dead. So I don't like that it decides to do things to help you out. Don't help me. I know what's going on better than
I just want this to go. I want this to. I want it to be fixed. I don't know what to do. Like I honestly don't know what to do. I
have never heard about.
I'm not calling law enforcement.
No, that's.
I'm pretty sure it's
not odd.
I'm not threatened by this.
Threatened by the presence of these earpods
device. Yeah.
Then you should call. That implies they're not your earpods. That they might be earpods or AirPods.
No, that's exactly what it implies. It's implying that
a stalker is wearing while he stalks you.
Yes.
And then it says you need to call law enforcement.
That
you may need the serial number of the earpod. Like, are you supposed to stop and talk to the stalker and go, dude, what's the serial number of those things? I want to report you for stalking me while wearing a trackable device.
Well, no, I think like, it's what I think is like, I guess potentially conceivable here is that maybe you're in a coffee shop, say, and you have this little your AirPod thing sitting on the table, right? On the coffee table, and you're like doing something. Somebody could swap it, right? Potentially, just like swap it out, and then you take the other person's AirPods with you, and then you put them in your bag, you put them in your whatever, and you take them with you, and now they can track you with the phone.
Track you, okay?
Right.
That seems so
it becomes a tracking device. It seems like an expensive way to track somebody. I think you could.
Yeah, and also just like an elaborate situation that can't happen often for them to make it like
apparently
a default warning on the phone. Does that make sense? Like.
But here I am. I'm telling you.
Instead of you own this device, which is the obvious assumption. The assumption, weirdly, is someone has switched out your device in order to track you using Find My EarPods.
Right.
Call. What's the name? Call law enforcement.
Local law enforcement. Yeah.
And also have the serial number. It's like especially on AirPods, like where you can't. Like mine don't.
It's on the back of the. It's on the very back, the very tiny print. I don't know what I'd do if I was on the phone with somebody and they were asking for this because.
Oh, I see it now. Well, I see it.
Couldn't actually see it. I mean, I can.
A gray
it's
smudge.
There. I mean, humans aren't supposed to be able to read this, right?
Right. This is going to be one of those things where you have to take a picture of it with your phone and then blow it up.
Well, what if you're on the phone with local law enforcement? You can't take a picture while you're on the.
Well, I think you can, but still, that's.
Have you done that?
I had to do that the other day. I was standing in line over here at Crooked Can, and I was like 3 people back from the outside. There's an inside bar and outside bar, and I noticed that one of the beers that's kind of in the area of the menu that my favorite beer is in had the sold out stamp on it. But like for the life of me, I couldn't figure out which one it was. So I had to take a picture and blow it up.
Zoom in. How far? Yeah. But you were not right. You were preparing to be asked, right? You wanted to be.
Oh yeah, no.
Prepared when you get up there.
Yeah, absolutely. I am going to have all of the information that I need by the time I get up to the counter. I am not one of those people that starts figuring out what they want when the person asks them. Those people need to be stabbed.
Well, that's one way to react to it.
It is the correct way to react to that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way.
But if you don't know what you want,
well, that's a little. I mean,
no, you should not be in line if you don't know what you want, unless the line is so long.
Yeah,
that you got plenty of time. But if there's 3, 4, 5 people in that line, and you don't even know what you want, get out of line, figure it out, and when you figure it out, get in line.
Wow.
Yes.
I feel like that's a little unreasonable. I feel like you should. Okay, how about this? I'll give you a corollary to it. So what if I'll accept the rule if there's an allowance for menu complexity, right? So I think that if it's a complex menu and the line is so short that you won't be able to you can't have a decent amount of confidence that you'll be able to make your mind up by the time you get there, then yeah, you should not be in line. But if it's a simple menu, if you're at like In-N-Out Burger, for example, and maybe you're not sure which burger you're going to get, but there's only like 4 to pick from, I think you can get in line and figure it out on your way up to the cashier. I don't think. Yeah, you just have to have you have to have confidence that you have to be able to make the decision by the time you get to the register.
The thing is that one of the keys here that makes me a little more lenient on that particular situation is the fact that you are considering the menu even before you get in line. I have been behind more than one person who has not even looked at the menu until they get to the cashier. And that particularly is a person who needs about a foot of steel through their brain.
So they're like on their phone or something, and then they get to that, and then they say, "Hi, may I help you?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Let's see. What do you guys have here?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, sorry. That's a stabbing.
Do you have a fish fillet? It's KFC.
Yeah.
Those people. There's someone in my life. So.
What about barbecue? Do you not understand?
Someone I work with. Maybe. He doesn't listen to this, so it doesn't matter. But. It does this all the time. He's got some social awkwardness, also. Anyway, but he's famous for this kind of thing where we're at a Mexican restaurant.
Oh God!
It's the one like right below like where the workplace is, and he's been there before. And we're there with we're doing a meeting, and this is like this group meeting. We're trying to coordinate with some other tenants so that we can kind of all come together to the landlord with a proposal for something. Anyway, and he comes to this meeting and going around the table taking the orders and stuff, and there's plenty of time, and it's a Mexican restaurant, not like it's a very complex menu or anything.
And most people know their typical Mexican restaurant order.
So he gets to him and he's like, "Oh yeah," and like he reaches to grab a menu, like, so do you have? And he asks, like, "So do you have such and such?" It's like, "No, it's not on the. Why would you ask this? Everything that they have is on
the list of what they have." If it ain't there, the answer is no. Chances are they do. They can give you things that aren't on the menu, but that ain't for you. This is not the time for that.
I think that my favorite time was we were on a flight. We were on a flight from L.A. to San Francisco, and it was Southwest late flight out, and we were both exhausted. Whatever. We get on this plane. And we got the drink coupons and stuff, and so the flight attendant comes up and says, "Can I get you something to drink?" Now, backing up, this is someone who was like he was flying Southwest at least twice a week for 2 years.
Not an unfamiliar situation.
So I'm on this flight with him. We don't usually travel together. I'm on this flight with him, and we sit down, and the flight attendant comes over and says, "Can I get you something?" And he says to her, "Yeah, what do you have?"
What do you have? We have drinks, sir.
What do you have? Like, really? Is this your first time here?
Have you never ordered a drink? Ask for the thing you want.
Are you making it seem like you've never ordered a drink? Is that what you're doing? I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing. Yeah. He's one of those guys. Like I would now we're just going to talk about him. I would he's one of those people that's like impossible to both get off the phone and also get away from like I don't mean like he's trapping you in a harmful way. I mean like if you're in a conversation.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. Just keeps it going.
You can't leave. I had to get to the point. It took years to get this way. I finally got to the point where I would literally just eventually get into my vehicle and close the door while he was still talking.
Do the slow window roll up.
Body language, man. He can't read. He cannot read body language at all. But he did this. He has this one thing that he does that there was like a superpower. When I saw it in action, I was like, oh my God, you can do that. And this was, we were touring a hospital, and it was kind of like a clandestine mission. We were like, like we weren't. People who were in the building, like the people there, we were invited to tour, but they didn't want the staff to know anything, or the other doctors and stuff to know anything about what was going on, because it was like a possible acquisition situation.
Right. Gotcha.
And so one of the other doctors says to him, I asked him a question. I don't even remember the question, like point blank. So I'm just going to make something up. Let's say he was wearing black scrubs, and the other doctor says, "So, do you always wear black scrubs?" And this guy, my friend, says, he just says something else. He completely ignores the question. He just starts talking about something else, as if he couldn't hear. He couldn't hear. He just didn't hear it. It's like didn't happen. It neutralized. Because the guy didn't ask again. He wasn't like, no. Right. But wait, I want to know about the black.
It's not you.
He just didn't answer. He just did, because it would have, I think by answering that question, he would have gotten a little more information that he should be giving, kind of thing. But he just didn't. He just did not answer. I'm like, wow. And this is why I would never be a successful politician, because I can't, they do the same thing. A reporter will ask a question, and they go around and they talk about something completely, they don't answer the question. Yeah. And I can't not answer a question. But it's like a superpower. But it's just weird. It's the social awkwardness thing was really weird there. Anyway,
that's the bizarre. Like back when I was in high school and a little bit of college, I was a very socially awkward person, and I remember wrestling with that bizarre paradox, the thing that where you're not comfortable talking with people, but you also don't know how to end a conversation with that person. That's a weirdly awkward situation too, because you suddenly start worrying that you're going to end up making them think that you don't like them, or that you're rude by ending it. So
you think he kept going because he didn't want to
do it, right? Because he was he was basically on a horse going crazy, and he was latched onto it, not wanting to try to get off because he was worried about getting hurt. Not literally, but that kind of thing, right? It's like, I got to keep this going until there's a situation that I can, utilize to effectively end this conversation with, causing the least amount of offense or whatever. It's like, I think there was a Seinfeld, wasn't there, about
so you think that he's dancing around me? You think that he's trying? What if he thinks I'm the problem?
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, I know I'm not,
it's because this guy won't stop talking.
I am the problem. Well, that's the other thing. I've reached this point in my career where I recognize that, because this happens to me sometimes. I look and you can look around the room, virtually or otherwise, and you're like, oh, they would just let me go on all day because I pay them.
Right. They're not going to be like, okay, that's enough out of you.
Right. But it's important to have at least one of those people who could be like, kind of need to move on here. Can you stop, please, Jason? Please. Right. But what if? Because I know there's people in my life, my friend and other friend Jeff up in Baltimore, who I think he's mad at me now. It took me months to think to come to this conclusion, which is a problem. But I'll come back. Maybe I'll circle back to that. Yeah. Maybe I won't. We'll see. Yeah. But there are people who get frustrated that I don't answer the phone. And Jeff is one of them, and there's other guys in one of But I know how long.
I'm frustrated that people use the phone.
I know how long I have to talk, right? And I know how long. So I'm not going to, if it's a friend of mine and we usually have a 40-minute conversation or something, he's not just calling to check in. He's calling to chit chat. Right. Well, I don't have time to chit chat, and I don't want to get on the phone and be like, "Hey, I'd love to talk to you, but I can't right now."
Right. Yeah.
No. And I know people like this. So this guy, the menu, socially awkward menu person, he's one of those people who, if you get on the phone with him, it's going to be an hour. You're going to be on the phone for at least 1 hour. Period.
With the socially awkward guy.
So you have to decide. You have to do I have an hour right now? Do I have an hour? And if I don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
Eventually he stopped calling. But I know like other people would complain the same. They'd say the same. Like, oh, I can't. Like, my God, I can't ever get off the phone. Mm-hmm. So, my paternal grandmother was like that. You couldn't get off the phone. Even I think my maternal grandmother was like that too. What is it? Maybe it's just a
grandparents are like that.
She's like, oh my gosh, and one more thing. Oh, and one more thing. Oh, and one more. Stop.
And I think probably pressure of speech plays a big part of that, right? Because you're looking for a pause or something to be able to go, well, I got to get out of here, or something along those lines. And if they don't ever let that pause happen, and like with some people, I've been like in the process of inhaling just before saying that, and they'll start something else going. I'm like, okay, I gotta wait for this now, and you
won't say, let me. I'm sorry, but let me stop you. I gotta go.
Right. Unless it's something like that's seriously an external reason, I definitely have to go.
Maybe we should practice that with each other.
Yeah, that wouldn't be weird
on Saturday.
At all.
Yeah, we'll just
as we continue to drink whiskey, that's a great idea. No, you say something. Shut up! I think that works.
Stop talking. Stop talking. Please
conversation over. But but yeah, there's there's a Seinfeld where what's his name?
Jerry.
Costanza. What's his first name?
George,
thank you. Was talking about how he leaves parties, always leave on a laugh. Like somebody says something, everybody laughs. Well, I got to get out of here. That's when he feels.
It's like our show,
right? Basically that.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
These guys are waiting for that gate to leave, and they can't find it, and so you're both stuck in this conversation that neither of you wants to be in. And now is rudderless. And so it's just kind of this bizarre, it's like the half level of hell. It's like not really serious, but it's definitely, there's something sort of Milton about it, or Dante.
Dante, right? Dante.
Yeah, he's the one with the levels. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lost and Regained, that was Milton. But yeah, it's a weird, and like I said, it's a total paradox because you continue talking to a person in a social situation exactly because you're socially awkward and don't want to be in social situations.
Wow.
It's crazy.
You're trapped.
Yeah.
Maybe you should lead maybe you should lead with it. Like, hey, before we start talking, it's like dating now, I guess, from what I hear. Like, you have to get all the ground rules laid out first, and then
right.
You should conversations should be like that too. So just to be clear, I have trouble ending conversations because I'm not sure how to read people well. And so if at any time you want out, please just give me this. Just give me the sign.
Get a safe word or something.
Yeah, you're right. Right. Let's talk about safe words. That's a great way to start a conversation. So my safe word is
artichoke.
There was a doctor who worked for me. Didn't work long. Whose staff. This was after an acquisition, and her staff was explaining to me that they had a safe word with her, yes, because apparently she would get
she was too. What?
She would get mean. She would get angry. She would and then begin to belittle people and stuff. And so the arrangement they worked out wasn't for her to actually just change her behavior. It was for them to have a safe word. When it became too much, they would use a safe word, and then she knew she had to stop. Yeah.
So she was self-aware enough to know that this was a problem.
Oh, I don't think she saw it as a problem.
She saw that was an expression of their weakness and inability to take it like a whatever, man, woman.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a healthy situation, which
clearly.
Not healthy. It was not healthy, but
I see now why she didn't work for you long.
Yeah. No. Wasn't good. Yeah. But I did have dinner with her a couple of times, and I think that she could order for menus just fine. So it's not.
Yeah. How'd she treat the wait staff though?
I don't know.
The ones that survived anyway.
Didn't stand out. She probably knew she couldn't get away with behaving that way with them. I think it was more manipulative than it was like just thinking you're better than everybody else. It wasn't one of those things. It was like I will break you, and then that way I can mold you kind of thing. It's basically what they do in residency programs. Like when you're a resident as a doctor, they break you. Oh, you think you know so much? Okay. Let me show you all the things you don't know. And now I can rebuild you properly. That's pretty much what residencies do.
You a cricket bat.
Why is this bloodstained? Don't worry about it.
I'm a nice guy, but don't treat me like that. I will not react well.
Wait, you're not talking to me you're not saying that to me, right?
I hope not.
Oh, man. Well, now I am questioning myself. Good Lord. What if my whole life what if all throughout my life people have just been nice to me because, like, God, Marcus.
Because you're the CEO or what?
No, that's for sure not a problem. Like I just accept that. I just accept that as true.
Isn't it weird how every joke you tell is hilarious?
They don't fear me that much.
Okay. No, not a Tony Soprano situation. It's just
but it's one. No. But God, is a problem. Like I do now. I'm getting all sweaty, like thinking about it.
Oh Lord! And you got
maybe it's this hoodie. It's the hoodie. So when you mentioned the like text thing on the back of the AirPods being hard to read, it made me think about other senses that I have concerns about.
You mentioned that earlier. I thought that's a pain.
Yeah. Like so when I'm in a noisy place, because this came up in our last conversation about the Sunset Spice.
And
so I got to thinking about that, and I I'm like I struggle, like I feel, and it's not. I don't feel like it's a recent thing. I don't think it's like after I was 40, it just became a problem. Like I feel like for many years, in loud, noisy environments, like a noisy restaurant, a bar, for God help me in there. Like I have trouble like tracking what people like. If you're across the table, I'll give you an example. That night that we were at Dahlia Lounge together,
I was gonna
with all those other people.
Yeah,
and there were people at like a good 6-7 feet away, and it was crowded and noisy that night.
Yeah,
and they were talking.
Not just because of us.
I couldn't hear most of what they were saying, and they're talking at me, to me,
right?
And I'm just going along with it. I'm trying to piece this thing together like a puzzle. Like I get a word here, a word there, a word here, a word there. I'm reading their facial expressions. I'm laughing at the right time.
Like Sherlock Holmes trying to solve the mystery.
I appear to be fully engaged.
More so than usual.
Laughing
really concentrating.
Laughing at their jokes. Because I'm mirroring. I'm doing that. Like I just naturally just fall into that. Like it's a defense mechanism or something.
Sure.
I don't know. But I worry, like, am I losing my hearing? Like, is this a problem? Because everybody else seems to be talking to each other, and like I'm not having any problem. And then, so I'm thinking about this in the car. Like, I'm really worried about my hearing. And then it occurs to me, what if everybody's having my experience? What if none of us can hear each other at all? But we're all too polite to actually say, "I'm sorry, I don't hear a single thing that you've said in the past. I haven't heard a single thing you've said in the past 15 minutes."
We've all been taking part in these conversations, and none of us has a clue what we talked about.
No, which is why, and then people get frustrated. Like, well, I told you that when we were together last month. I'm like, oh, sure you did.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay.
I mean, it's just me.
Do you think that it's?
I don't know.
It's. I can get that way. Do you think that it's because of the other people in Dahlia also talking, so that it's like?
Oh, yeah, no, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, so that is it. You're kind of being,
but there is a problem. Your
signal jammed.
There is a hearing, I don't know, impairment. I don't know what you want to call it. Like there is a, the way you, like your ability to separate out the noises. I think. Mm-hmm. I have a hunch as to why I may have developed this problem. Mm-hmm. I think I may have trained my brain. You see, Marcus, it all goes back to the people.
Oh.
I think I've been sleeping with white noise for so long.
Interesting.
That the so my brain basically, like anything within a certain spectrum of sound, mm-hmm. gets like washed out and ignored completely. It's learned like, okay, like it's actually a positive thing. I don't wake up when there's a sound that isn't really important to hear within a certain range or something, and, mm-hmm. and then that right. And then so now I'm thinking, this is all like non-medical hunch, but I'm like I'm in a restaurant or a lounge or something, and it's noisy, and there's a certain like pitch or frequency of sound that I like, conversational sound that I cannot make out from the white noise.
Right. It just kind of sort of a tears and rain kind of thing. It blends into that because your brain has
it's like those
gotten so used
visual
to
puzzles where you're trying to say like it's like color blindness. Like like I can't see can you see that picture in that other thing? Well, like no, I can't really make it out.
One of the things I've noticed about picking out conversations like that is that, like, if I stand in the middle of like a cocktail party, and which I do a lot by myself, which is why I don't get invited to cocktail parties anymore. But these people are talking.
Somebody talk to me.
I'm just stoically there with a drink. What? But like these guys at my 2:00. I can listen to their conversation, but I can't hear anybody else's conversation. But I can shift to these people's conversations and pay attention to it, and now I can't hear them. Right?
I think that's
like. I
think that's how you're supposed to be, Marcus. Because I don't think you're actually supposed to be able to track multiple conversations at the same time.
No, exactly. But the thing is if I placed a microphone here, and recorded it all, and I take that home and listen to it, I would not be able to pick out conversations because it flattens it all, right?
Yes.
And so, and I think it's a positional thing, right? I think again, like you said, not medical. This is just a hunch I'm playing on. But because of that, because you can't do it on a recording, but you can do it when you're actually there, I think it's a lot like the recording is kind of like a photograph. I take a photograph of you and the background is blurry. There's nothing I can do to sharpen the background's focus after the photograph has been taken. Now I know there's like AI crap out there now that you can do it, but I'm not talking about that. But at the time I can focus on you and then I can focus on the background. And I think that's kind of like that. It's like your ear's version of being able to focus. So you can focus on this conversation, and then you're done listening to that.
Well, also having the binaural, like having the
right,
like,
you're doing it through position.
It's like having stereo vision. It's like having
exactly
right. We do have,
and then maybe something is hindering that ability in your ears that you can't.
It's not like it's not always a problem. It's just when it's really noisy, I know it's going to be difficult for me, and I always wondered, like, is anyone else having this problem? Like I seem like I'm the only one, and I'll have to say, like, I'm sorry, like and I feel bad telling someone I'm sorry, what was that? Because after you've said that like twice, now you're the guy that's hard of hearing.
Yeah. or you're maybe coming across a little, I don't know, not judgy,
especially if they have
like,
an accent or something. You're like
exactly. Oh my God, it just seems critical, right? And not to them, they may not find it that way at all. But I suddenly am acutely aware that I could very well be coming across as massively critical of their speaking ability or something like that. It's terrible.
Yeah. So I worry about that. We can keep going through the senses if you wish. I mean, I have
what if there's
one
a smell focus.
I do have one related to smell. Okay, so the pin I sent you about this, I kind of like this. This is kind of fallen into a theme. This is pretty good. I mean, I don't think probably no one else enjoys it, but that's fine. Oh, we have to talk about that. Oh yeah. So the concept is this still good?
Oh.
But applied to the post-COVID, like the post-COVID dilemma that faces countless former heroes. Like in my house, I'm the person people will come to. Like, is this still good? Henry does it all the time.
We're talking about food, right?
Food. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just in case food. we haven't identified it yet.
So no lingerie, Marcus, lingerie.
No, that's bad.
No, that's real bad.
It's gone sour.
So he pours a glass of milk the other day, and he tastes it. And he's like, I don't know that this milk is still good. Like I mean, I looked at the expiration date and it's like fine, but he's like, but it just has a weird like mouthfeel. He didn't say mouthfeel, but that's what he was basically saying. And I
Your
said,
child would say mouthfeel. That wouldn't seem odd.
So I go over and smell the jug. And I'm like, oh,
that's
He's
turned
like,
to wine.
It's bad. I'm like, oh, this is horrible. Like, what are you doing? But I know. But there's other times where he's like, oh, I don't. The expiration, like it's past the expiration, and I'll smell. I'm like, no, this is still good. Like this is. Like mine, I got like my nose. It knows.
Yeah,
my nose knows. And I was talking to it all goes again. We're going back to Fred. Again. Who we were talking about people who've lost their sense of smell because of COVID and so forth, and the long haulers, like they still don't have their smell back.
Yeah.
Like long time. And so the problem is that there's these things you take for granted in life where like smelling a gallon of milk, like, is this still good? You need another person now.
Yeah.
And if you were the person in your household that people relied upon,
the whole family's in jeopardy.
Yes. And he brought up the point of, not just the food part, but like smoke. If your smoke alarm goes off, the first thing most of us do is the first thing most of us do, other than you, is like as we smell, like, do you smell smoke? Like, do I smell? Right? Like, I don't smell anything, right? But to them, they're like, I don't know. Again, right? It's a big problem.
Yeah.
Big problem. And I don't know I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a study here that should be done about, and all the things that need to be studied about COVID and post-COVID, like what happens to society after this? What happens to the kids who lost a year of school? Essentially, what happens to there's going to be all sorts of ramifications, like long-term, unexpected type of things. I wonder.
How good of a teacher did mom turn out to be?
Well, right. I wonder. As it turns out, homeschooling's great. Not for the parent, for the kids. Anyway, so it's like when there's famine, when there's an economic downturn, like during the Great Depression, like that tends to cause a nutritional deficiency in the population, and that nutritional deficiency through because of epigenetics actually impacts the next generation of people, like the unborn, get impacted by the temporary and not life-threatening nutritional deficiencies.
Right.
Sometimes caloric deficiencies, right?
Right.
but the effect it has is actually a positive. That people end up becoming like the kids of the people who were impacted directly, the indirectly impacted people. They tend to be more resistant, like from a metabolism standpoint and so forth. Like, and I'm totally watering down what the real science is here, but like that's the gist of it. There's all sorts of things that happen.
Accidentally scientific.
As it turns out, it just may be.
This episode is, but the podcast ain't.
But no, right. But they have. So I think about this, like what are the implications? Like left-handed people, we know, there's more accidents. Left-handed people are involved in more accidents, almost certainly because the world really just isn't designed for them.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that statistic is true. We'll say it is. So I wonder now, like people who can't smell because of COVID, because they had COVID and they still can't smell, like does the incident of accidents or other like unfortunate events, does it increase? Food poisoning, for example, or things like that. Does it go? I don't know. I think somebody should write a paper about it.
But it could be.
I don't know how you collect the data, but I don't know. It's interesting stuff. Anyway, I'm sorry. You can just cut that whole section out.
But you got the corrective lenses for the eyeballs. You got the hearing aids for the ears. I'm wondering if you could get like this like device that had a fan and it sucked air through this thing that had sensors in it, and it would be like, this is bad milk. This is a gas leak. This is smoke. This is there's a high level of probability that this.
Well, I think that's what the smoke detector does. Like, it's
the smoke detector does that, but it doesn't detect bad milk. I mean, that's what I'm saying. A more general use kind of
a jug where the color changes.
We could do that. Yeah, I was thinking of simulating the sense of smell through like a sucking air through a tube, but yeah, you'd have to.
You can suck the air through the tube. I'm not opening the gallon.
Like with a fan. I'm not like. What? I'm smelling the milk.
I'm inventing here. This is a creative process.
I've got a new machine.
Marcus, why do you keep talking to me like that?
It smells milk.
It's my invention voice.
They all talk like this. Bernie Sanders or something.
Oh my God. So and I thought I tell you, like I felt like I've had a cold for. I mean, I had a cold. I'm actually now. So I had a cold. I got a cold. Mm-hmm. Almost certain I got it from the conference. Troublemakers, and
the con flu has been a thing for time immemorial. I would come back. I know,
but in the era of COVID, it's like
sure.
Scary. And so of course, like immediately after, and I really can't tell you the last time I had any kind of like illness at all. Like it's been years, and before I was in Florida, like years and years, even it's a cold. But I got a sore throat, and like, oh no. So I tested. So I tested.
Yeah.
Clear. Like, okay. All right. A few more days go by. Now I'm getting a little I got the congestion and coughing and sneezing a lot. Like I'm reading I'm like, oh yeah, that's a symptom. That's a symptom. That's a symptom. I have COVID. I test again, and I'm fine.
WebMD strikes again.
No, I don't do WebMD because it launches the app. It launches a stupid app. I don't even know why I have that app still.
I was about to say. I
hate that. You go to a website. I'm on Safari for a reason, people. I don't want, when I click, I Google search and I get the thing that comes up, WebMD. I click on it, and then as soon as I click on it, I see it's WebMD. I'm like, no. And because then it launches the app. Like, no, I just wanted it just right there. If I didn't have the app, what would you do? Do that. Anyway, what was I talking about? Okay. So anyway, it turns out I'm fine, but I have no idea what I was talking about. I'm completely. I've completely lost track.
You got all the symptoms of the COVID.
I'm coming back to the milk. I had all the symptoms of. I don't have COVID, is what I think I was trying to tell you. But that I had to I was going to come out and say it, but then I needed to explain why I was even saying it, and that's why I think I got all twisted up in my story. Anyway, the milk thing. If you have what causes the spoiling? It's bacteria, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the bacteria is giving off CO2, I assume, as well as probably other chemicals or something.
Certainly something.
And so when a certain
when
a certain amount of the whatever chemical you want to trace builds up, it should cause some kind of they could have something it could be it's something in the polymer to change color or give a little indication.
Yeah. I imagine
it's not good anymore.
It might be enough to just do a pH balance or a pH test.
I'm not going to use my pools. It's already
not that. No.
I can put a little dipstick in it. Yeah. Does that look right to you? I don't know. Did you buy that on Amazon? It's not as accurate. That's what the pool people tell me. I'm this says it's this much. You can't believe that.
You gotta buy our $100 strips.
Right.
They're really accurate.
Oh, look how white I got. Ooh. It's almost like nuclear war. Can you see me? It's
yeah.
Ooh,
what happened there?
Did I touch?
That looks better.
I'm coming back. That was a close one. It's going. I feel like it's going to happen again.
Now you're going to be stressing about that.
I am. I think I'm going to cause it just thinking about it. I think I can mind control my camera.
So is this good? Is that what you were referring to when you talked about the potato in the fridge?
Oh, well, okay. So, yeah. I mean, if you want to, I guess we can talk about the potato in the fridge. I open up there's a potato in the refrigerator.
Oh, okay.
I could eat a potato.
Oh, gotcha. What's it doing in the fridge?
Well, I don't know.
You keep potatoes in the fridge?
No, I don't think I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And usually the sign of a bad potato is that, it starts to get a little soft and wrinkly looking, and then of course if it starts growing its little arms.
Yeah, isn't that weird? They're going bad and they're growing.
They're so bad they're trying to grow away from themselves.
Well, see, that's it's like, what an enduring plant.
Must move on. This is bad place.
I am in a refrigerator in the dark.
Well,
I'm going to sprout.
I don't think they sprout in the refrigerator. This wasn't sprouted. It's just I would have. I knew I should have brought it and show it to you, but so I could eat this potato, and then I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat this. Maybe I'll have this potato, and then I look at it. I'm like, why is this in the fridge? And I touch it. I'm like, it's cold, so you're not normally touching a cold potato before it's no one ever talks about hot potato. No one ever talks about cold potato.
Yeah,
you ever notice that?
It's true.
No one ever,
I do know that. That's
cold
weird.
Cold potato's not a thing.
That's just weird.
No one says that. Oh, cold potato. Anyway, and so then I don't know why it was important to point that out. And then so I'm touching this potato. I don't know why, and it kind of like holding a pipe, Marcus. Now that I think about it.
Like a smoking pipe?
What other, like plumbing.
Like a lead pipe? I don't know.
In the living room. With Colonel Mustard. Yes.
With the cold potato.
A lead pipe. I mean, if I was going to kill somebody with a lead pipe, I'd be more worried about getting lead poisoning. I'm not killing with a lead pipe.
I think you'd get away with it if you did it with a cold potato.
Oh, yeah, you would.
You put a cold potato in a sack and then whack them.
Is it true? Do you think that the old Clue sets were actually made? Those pipes were actually lead.
Probably pewter.
They were bendy.
Yeah, I would imagine they're pewter.
Not lead.
I would think.
I was worried about that.
Like as a kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's not surprising. Will I get lead poisoning from this? I don't like the candlestick's mouthfeel.
I never chewed on the candlestick. Weren't the candlesticks plastic anyway?
Well, there were the
rope was
sets
plastic.
I remember. Yeah, the rope was plastic.
And the candlestick was plastic, wasn't it? Or maybe it was metal.
It? I want to say that it was metal. I want to say
the gun was the revolver's metal.
Yeah.
And the lead pipe is lead.
Yeah, clearly the pipe wrench is
the wrench is metal.
And the knife.
Are they still like this? Like, has anyone bought Clue recently?
Yeah, I don't know. Are they the same weapons? I wonder. There's nothing as modernized or anything like. I don't know what you would have.
Yeah. Right now they're assault rifles. I think that's what they stick in it.
Well, it's still the revolver, basically. It's a firearm.
It's true.
So I'm trying to think of like some kind of technological, like the stun gun or something. I don't know.
Biowarfare. COVID.
COVID molecule or whatever virus.
Right. So
ball.
I don't know why. Yes, spiky ball. So I didn't eat it. Long story short, I didn't eat it because I wasn't
good.
I didn't know. Like,
probably good.
You think it's good?
No. I mean it's good that you didn't eat it.
Okay. Because it was a little soft, but not like
random potato. And you don't know the history of that potato. Was it contained in any way, or was it just a potato
on a shelf? All alone on the shelf.
Potato sitting on the shelf.
It really was it was like, I mean, if I was profiling, I'd be like, what are you doing here? Like, why? What are you doing, potato? Sitting on the shelf in the refrigerator? You don't belong
where
here.
You usually are, potato.
You're not where you usually are. No.
There's nothing for you here.
Move along. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Tourist potatoes.
Do you want to talk about anything? Because I sent you 1,800 things in the past 24 hours. So I don't.
That's.
Oh wait, you do have one on here.
Well, yeah, I did. I don't know if we.
Or you think we're out of time?
Well, I don't know. It seems
it's never stopped us before.
That's very true. I do have to say that I wonder very, very much about the Church of Jason.
Oh, that's a long. That's I don't know. I can make it fast, probably.
I don't know. We're only an hour in.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? You don't have a choice. Okay, so
sit down.
I think Michelle's reaction when I told her I was going to talk about the Church of Jason was like, "Oh no."
I have a feeling that's a reaction she has often.
Not this again. Don't burden the world with this. But
so this is an ongoing thing then.
I've been thinking about it all my life, Marcus.
Oh, okay. Yes,
all my life.
Let's talk about this.
I have the Church of Jason like well baked in my mind. The church, first of all,
the Jasonian faith.
First things first. The Church of Jason has nothing to do with Jason. It's not like a celebration of Jason. While that would be pleasant, and I may even encourage it, that's not what the Church of Jason is about. The Church of Jason is about like the type of church that Jason would like to go to that doesn't exist, and if it did, maybe I'd actually go to church.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Okay. But I added an element.
But
the reason it came up is because I added an attribute to the Church of Jason recently.
So
my mental model of the Church of Jason
2.0 now.
Well, it's just like a better, this is nice. This is nice. This is a nice feature, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. My congregation in my head, they're like,
we're all going.
Like if you open it up, you're like, hello, see all the people. Yeah, they're all like, this is great. So, Church of Jason, some basic rules here. Okay. Number one. There's no singing.
I knew that was going to be number one. I knew it.
There's no at least there's no forced group singing. There's no stand up and sing the hymn and watch all the people come through. There's none of that. No. And there's none of this. And I don't like the other end of the spectrum.
Though
music playing's fine.
And watching
it's fine. Even the choir. If there are ones who have a choir going, whatever, fine. Don't get me this rock band stuff. And I know I'm offending all sorts of people who are listening right now, but And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just not right in the Church of Jason.
Okay.
We're not doing any like...
There's a different denomination.
If someone is using an electric guitar in a church, I'm out.
If I hear one Chris Tomlin song.
I'm not saying it's against God. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm
not
just
your
saying
cup of tea. Not your cup of sacramental wine.
Correct. It's just not right. That's not what exactly. Number 2. We don't do a past offering thing. We take Venmo or PayPal or Apple Pay or Tap and Pay or whatever, Bitcoin,
I was about to say,
whatever.
Crypto.
Fine.
So I got a guy here in the neighborhood that might be able to hook me up with that.
I don't want to be that person who, like, number one, I don't want to, and it's been so long since I've been in church for real. Maybe they do this stuff already, but I don't want to carry little envelopes. I don't want to write any checks. Yeah. I don't want to carry any envelopes. I don't want to check the boxes on the back of the piece of paper that says what I want to give my money to. Mm-hmm. General fund. I don't even know what general fund means. I assume it means
for
beer.
The general.
So it's for the general. So like, don't make me do that. And don't make me do it in front of other people.
Yeah,
but also
that's the
with
thing,
the offering,
right?
like, don't make, if I'm visiting your church, I'm gonna like for whatever, say I'm there for someone's first Holy Communion, or I'm somewhere for a baptism, or whatever, and you're doing the offering thing. Now I feel like I don't know, what am I supposed to put in?
Right.
It's not like they give you a suggested amount, like it says on the thing. Like, well, most people give this much. They don't do that. And you know that people are watching you like, new guy. Let's see what new guy does.
Now, most of the churches I've been a part of have been like, if you're visiting, you don't give nothing. Don't worry about giving. You're our guest. Be here and just hang out and enjoy the praise band. And, no?
Doesn't that make you want to give? Then you're like, now I'm going to give something.
Well, I'm not saying that it's not one of those sort of grandmother guilt trip kind of things, but that's tends to be my experience.
There is no sermon, but there's a conversation. Like, we're going to talk about something. Let's talk about something. Maybe we even have breakout groups or something. Like, what do you want to talk about? Maybe some people just want to talk about football. That's fine. You know why? Because at least they're in church.
It's happening amongst a congregation of people.
Exactly. It's about the community, right? Cool. Okay. Yeah. But the feature that I thought of recently, this is the important part to get to. The feature is
AirPods,
and earphone, whatever. You have, so the same app that you use on your phone to pay your offering is the same app that you use to tune in to the music that you like.
Okay.
So when everybody's like, when it's time to like listen to like something about whatever, you get to tune in. You can have your electric guitar. You can have your hymn, your choir. You can have Gregorian monks with chanting, whatever. Like you can have all Gregorian
monks.
Not gregarious
monks.
Gregarious monks.
Gregarious monk. He was a jazz pianist, I believe.
Gregorian. Anyway, Gregorian monks. And when it comes to like readings, like from the gospel or whatever, it can be multi-denomination. It could be you're like, you could have somebody reading from the Torah and somebody reading from the Quran. You got somebody reading from the book of Matthew. You got all the gospel of Matthew. Whatever they call it.
It's both.
I'm waiting for the lightning strike. Yeah, the same thing.
So everybody's having their own individual experience is the...
Except for the important parts. Like when it's like,
it's time to talk about football.
time to talk. When it's like the exchanging of what do they say, like the peace, exchanging the whatever people say, like peace be with you kind of thing that they do in churches sometimes.
Yeah, where you take time and you're supposed to say hi to everybody standing around
you.
I hate that part. I can't lie. I hate that part of it.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I don't want to talk to these people.
Except it's at least what's nice about it is that, and this is where I think you should embrace it, and all the times that you go to church now, is that you're forced to actually acknowledge the human being that you've been trying to avoid for making eye contact with for the past 50 minutes. Also, you get to see the person behind you because it's rude to turn around and look behind.
That's true.
You know, it's a nice feature.
Yeah. Yeah, that's getting tactical situational awareness is a good part of it. Like, this is the guy behind me. I'm not worried about him.
I think I could take him with this little pencil.
I've got the hymnal up here, and it's a hardcover. It's got real sharp corners.
Can you give me that sharp pencil? Thank you.
See, the Bible is real floppy. You don't want to use that. The hymnal, that's where you want to go because it's nice and stiff and it's got the sharp corners.
Well, there's no need for a hymnal because you got the app.
Right, but I mean, surely somebody's personalized preference is going to be.
The thing is, you joke, but like there are I don't know if this is this still a thing, but there used to be clubs where you could go in and they would give you headphones, and you could tune in to whatever music, like what track you liked, and people are out dancing on the floor, but it was actually like relatively silent in these places.
Really?
Yes.
I have never heard of this.
Oh yeah, it's a thing. I swear I didn't dream this. I mean, okay, maybe
so they would have to synchronize the beats per minute with every channel.
I don't know.
So that everybody dancing is dancing on the same beat, right? Because imagine if like one side is playing True by Spandau Ballet and the other channel is playing like, I don't know, Enter Sandman or something.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
And then like half of the people are like thrashing and jumping around and the other
That's what they're doing anyway.
Are like slow dancing at the same time.
That's what they're doing anyway.
That's what you go into a club and everybody's listening to the same music.
Dude,
and those are the
I don't go into a club.
Clearly.
There was this time in my 30s where I did go into a club. It was like early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And I went early 30s, yeah. And I went into a club and I realized I missed my moment. Like this is not for me anymore.
I'm not on this training. Yeah.
Yep. I'm done.
Yeah.
But I'm in that in between age. At that point, in your early 30s, you gotta get this in between age, where, I mean, you can probably push the edges of it a little bit, and you keep pretending.
Mm-hmm.
But those like 22, 23-year-olds, they don't want you there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And also, you're too young to be hanging out with like the people who are actually like dancing to the music that you actually like.
Right.
Because that's just, I mean, for lack of a better, can I say this? You can like bleep it out if I'm not allowed to say this, but like it's like Cougar Town. Now you have to bleep it 3 times.
Sort of reverse Cougar Town. You've walked into Cougar Town.
You've walked in, yes.
And you are a tasty piece of meat. Well,
in your early 30s, yeah, absolutely, right. So you can't. So you're in this limbo.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you did in those limbo? I mean, that's where you just get an MBA or something. You're like, well, what else am I going to do with my time?
So that's why people get MBAs.
That's right.
I feel like you
need to look this up. You need to look at this. It's what would you call it? Okay, if you had to name it something, what would you? This is how we have to search for it. Personalized. It rolls right off the tongue. Personalized dance. Clubs.
I thought we were talking about the syndrome where you feel like you're in between clubbing and I don't know what the other.
They call that old age
part is. Clubbing and the early bird special.
I know this is a thing, man. I know it's a thing. It's out there. I don't know what to
search for. I would be impressed
for.
with that DJ. I mean, that's you got to sync all them beats together. Otherwise, it's just chaos. And I would kill to be there and like film it from the outside, like not listening to any of the music, just watching these people silently dancing their asses off.
Silent disco is what they call it.
Silent disco.
And they have party headphones you can rent. And there's a YouTube video, what does quiet clubbing sound like? Quiet clubbing, a better way to party.
Bunch of clomping.
Silent headphone party 2018. Silent disco 2018.
That's
Silent disco.
That's insane.
I just broke my pen. Silent disco, what people think versus reality.
So you don't have to necessarily read all of the Google results. It just
okay. I would play it for you, but I have a feeling it's just going to be real quiet.
Yeah, it's silent, right?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to play it. There's talking. Here's what you missed. That's what it says. Oh, that's not silent at all. It's just, hold on. Maybe it's...
It sounds like goats. What am I listening to?
I don't know. This is not silent to me, but there are multiple DJs. So there were like 3 DJs lined up.
Mm-hmm.
I think each DJ is controlling their own channel.
Oh, okay.
And so then you get to tune into whatever you want to tune into.
Huh.
See, it's the thing. Weird. I didn't make this up.
No,
it did actually happen.
It sounds like a very 2018 thing. Yeah.
What was that? Like 3 years ago? It was like
well, I mean, like a now kind of thing. Like this is what we do with discos now. We have Spotify disco here.
Yeah.
Disco. Like, are they really call it discos?
They should. They really should. I'd like that to come back. I would like, back in the 70s.
Discotheque.
It was people our age who were going out. Okay, once disco is basically, I don't say misappropriated, but you know what I'm saying. Like once like white people decided to make it their own.
Right.
What?
When do we do that?
Like, it's like Facebook. Once our parents' generation ruined Facebook for everybody. Sorry, but it's true. It was fine until about 2012, 2013. Well, Facebook was great up until about 2013, and then it was like... Anyway.
I remember when you had to have a .edu email address to even get a Facebook account.
Oh, well, that's way back. Mm. Yeah. So, but I think that I feel like disco should come back, so that people like us have a place to go, Marcus, without because if you're there, mm-hmm. and I'm there, and mm-hmm. the people who at least treat us nicely because at least they're just humoring us are there, and we're listening to music that we like. It doesn't have to be Bee Gees, although that would be fine. But it could be anything from the 80s, a little Depeche Mode or something. Be great.
Great clubbing music, Depeche Mode.
Anything Carlos Silva would want to listen to. I think it'd be great.
Right. He's always got a good handle on some serious music.
But no, you have to be I'm sorry, but you guys you have to be 40 or older and the beat, that's just it. But you also can't, you age out also, so you can't be 60.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
It's we're taking the middle people, not the village people. We're taking the middle people, mm-hmm. and we're building a club for them. And then eventually you can graduate into. So yeah, then you can go on if you age out, then you can go on your celebrity cruise, right? Mm-hmm. And if you aren't old enough, you can go on your I'm stepping all over your subject. You want to talk about? You can go on your Carnival cruise. Right. Spoiler alert.
Right. Yeah, talk about that. Probably next week.
Next week. Put a pin in that.
There used to be a place in Pleasure Island called 8 Tracks that was kind of like that, and it was really cool. I at the time
you were too young. You should not have been in there.
Yeah, mm-mm. Yeah. But then I also here's exactly what you're talking about, because I also went into Mannequins and I felt like I was too old for that place. So I'm a man without a country.
So you were like me, and you went to the Adventurers Club.
Right. Yeah.
And then
which is the better choice anyway.
And then Michelle would look at me like, why are we going here? Why aren't we dancing?
Nothing else makes sense.